I was born in Sweden, but I grew up basically in Illinois. In 1963, I moved to Sweden, and I lived there from 1963 to 68. The first car I owned was a 1956 Volvo that became available. Otherwise, I was getting around on a motor scooter. That car was a great car. I drove it for 5 years, never had any problems with it. And when I sold it to a friend of mine, and he kept it for I don't know how many years. But that was my first car. And while I was there, a friend of mine had an identical car, which was a 56, but it was maroon. And he was moving, it didn't run too well. He wanted to get rid of it. So I bought it basically for a parts car. And I kept that stored in my mother-in-law's barn out in the country. And then in '68, when I moved here, the car stayed in the barn until 1984, when my mother-in-law wanted to sell the farm. And so I had it shipped over here. And then it sat in the storage for 10 years till after I retired. And then I had that one restored. And that one is my pride and joy today. It's a 1956 PV 444. It's a maroon color. It's an original color, and the upholstery is original to the car, and it's just a beautiful car. This is a 1959 PV 544. I bought it from a Norwegian gentleman in Schaumburg, Illinois. He had it sitting in his garage for 17 years. He worked for a Volvo dealer, and he was going to fix it up. But when I met him, he was 80 years old, and he didn't see any time to do that. So originally it had a B16 engine, which had 165,000 miles. At some point they changed it out to a B18, a 12-volt system, and the car's a running champ. I could take this one anywhere. Yeah, I feel comfortable in this one. Now that I get better shocks, it's comfortable. The seats not so much, but it's a good running car. I could trust it anywhere. Last year I took it to Lindsborg, Kansas, and then to Vermont for the Volvo meets there. The year before it was in Tulsa. And so yeah, it gets around. When I bought it, it had 41,000 miles on this current engine. I now have 53, coming up on 54,000. So I use it a lot. I use it at home, not much daily driver, but close to it. So I'm out every week, a couple days a week. Yeah, and then I also have a 54 444 that I bought from Joe Lazenby 2 years ago. That's a great car too. That one's in beautiful condition. Yeah.
So you have three.
I have two 444s and one 544. Yeah, and that's it. No more. So, yeah.